It was 48 long years ago when thousands of us, yearning for justice and freedom, stood a short distance from here in the shadow of the Lincoln Memorial. Martin Luther King Jr., this man, this brother, this citizen of America, this citizen of the world, was number 10 in the program lineup. I was number 6. Of those who spoke that day, I'm the only one still around. Dr. King was our leader. He never, ever asked us to do anything that he would not do. Had it not been for the philosophy of peace, the philosophy of nonviolence that he preached, and his insistence on the nonviolent resistance based on brotherly love, this would be a different nation. We would be living in a different place today. But Martin Luther King Jr. must be looked upon as one of the founding fathers of the new America. But this man, this one man, not only freed a people, but he liberated a nation.
You think of Martin Luther King as a giant of a man, but the one complex he had was a complex about his height. He was really just 5'7", and he was always getting upset with tall people who looked down on him. Now he's 30 feet tall, looking down on everybody. But he'd be the first to tell you that he didn't give his life for a statue. He gave his life for the least of these God's children. And Martin Luther King gave his life to end poverty. You're not going to end poverty by preaching. You're going to end poverty by learning some economics, by sending your children to school, by saving your money, by getting financially literate. And just like we won the battle of voting rights, we can win the battle of economic rights. And that's what Martin Luther King would have you do now. And the first step to that is to keep a president in office that basically has your interest at heart. And if we don't do that this year, God help us.
To quote Martin Luther King Jr. in his speech at Oslo, when they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. But one of the things he made clear was that while we've come a long way, we still have a long, long way to go.
That's right.
And while the presence of this imposing structure forever reminds us of the long and perilous journey that the struggle has brought us through, it also points toward the future. We recognize here that in the midst of the amazing truth that an African-American preacher who never held public political office is recognized here among the fathers of the country. Indeed, he has become a father of the country. For his leadership gave birth to a new America. This marvelous present is imperiled by forces that come today to turn back the clock.
That's it.
There are forces in this country that want to turn back the clock.
Amen.
But we want to make sure they understand we've marched too far, prayed too hard, wept too bitterly, bled too profusely, and died too young to let anybody turn back the clock on our journey home.